Hello, and welcome back to the Simplifiers podcast, where we take topics in work and in life and simplify them. And friends, I think you've probably heard of this person that I'm interviewing today. And if you haven't heard of her quite yet, oh man, you are in for a treat. You probably for sure have heard of her boss. The topic we are simplifying today is how to lead from the heart. We're really diving in and double clicking into what it takes to have a thriving workplace, but more importantly, for how you can thrive in your workplace in today's day. So let me introduce you to Claude Silver. She's on a mission to revolutionize leadership, talent, and workplace culture. She is the world's first chief heart officer at VaynerX and partners with CEO Gary Vaynerchuk to drive their success. She's earned Campaign US Female Frontier Award and Adweek's Changing the Game Award. She electrifies audiences at national and international conferences and at organizations like, Meta, Google, US government agencies, and the US Armed Forces. She's been featured in the New York Times. She's also been featured in Fast Company, Forbes, and the Wall Street Journal. And we're talking about it today. She's the author of the new book, Be Yourself at Work, the groundbreaking power of showing up, standing out, and leading from the heart. So I'd like to welcome to the Simplifiers podcast, Claude Silver. Hey, Claude.
Great to be here. Thank you. You can MC for me any day.
Oh, I'm so thrilled that you're here. And I love when I get to talk to people who are so aligned and so passionate about the same things that I love to talk about. So I really hope that this is a juicy, deep, intentional conversation for everyone today.
Yes, let's do it. I am ready.
Yeah. And, by the way, this book has gotten such great reviews and congratulations. Well done. This is your debut book and it's jam-packed full of real practical advice for those in the modern workplace. Not to mention, USA Today best-selling book list. That's pretty darn cool, Claude.
Thank you. Thank you. It was all a great surprise. And I'm thrilled that the book is out in the world now. That's the best feeling for me because I wrote the book for us. I wrote the book for everyone. And I no longer have to hold it inside. It's now can be what it was meant to be, which is useful and helpful and it will facilitate. My hope is it facilitates growth and change in our workplaces today.
Because let's face it, work is broken on many levels. And we need this kind of information, these types of playbooks in our hands, in our senior leadership hands to make positive change. One of the greatest premises that you put forth right from the jump is why it matters to be yourself at work. Can we talk about that first?
Yes, absolutely. So, of course, we all know we spend so much of our time in the workplace, actually more than we spend in our life, quite frankly, in our other life with our families and our friends and doing activities. Why is it that we choose to make our backpack heavier when we walk through those doors or turn on our laptop? We actively choose to hide ourselves, to cover ourselves up. My premise is I don't want to do that anymore. It's too heavy. It gives you the Sunday scaries. It creates more anxiety. You actually shrink and shrivel. You don't be big. You're not big. And so why are we doing that? Well, for a variety of reasons. Fear, insecurity. We don't know what we're going to be met with. There's no consistency in terms of the culture or the leadership that we are going to be met with when we walk into that room or onto that Zoom. And so, of course, we would want to hide away and put some armor on. What I am saying is that is heavy. That is so heavy. And when you choose to dip your foot into the water, maybe dip your knee into the water, and you start taking some of that heaviness off out of your backpack, you will stand up straighter. And I believe you will actually be happier because more of the real you is coming out in spite of the fact you might be afraid. Mm-hmm. One of the things I say right up there in the first part of the book is you are the CEO of you. No one else can choose to make you do anything. And that's a lesson we all have to learn at some point. No one can make us do. No one can tell us we need to blank, 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 and then do it. It's up to us how we choose to show up every day, in every meeting, in every Zoom. And I would like us to start choosing to take up more space by being more of ourselves in the workplace.
Yes. And, I feel like that message is universal. That is not gender based whatsoever. That is for everyone in the workplace, right?
Correct. Correct.
And so I think about my most cynical friend and how they would say, yeah, but Claude, what about the jerks in the world? The ones that just don't care about anybody but themselves, getting ahead, clawing ahead, have zero understanding of emotional intelligence. Are they allowed to be themselves at work fully?
So the answer is no. And I'll tell you why. We all have a responsibility to not only become self aware of ourselves and our jerkness or our kindness, but we all have a massive responsibility and are accountable for knowing how to regulate our emotions. Keep it in. There is no one that wants to clean up your jerkness. No one that wants to clean that up. No one. And so the opposite of that is no one wants to clean up my insecurity when I walk into the workplace because I had a terrible night's sleep. So this is, quite frankly, what I'm asking for is a consistency, an agreement that we will all become just that much more self-aware of our triggers, our tics, the things that piss us off, the things that bring us joy. And we will learn how to rein it in. And that is a big, big lesson that most of the time we are taught when we are children.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we choose to forget that and go harry-carry and, just let it all loose. No one wants to clean up your mess.
It's so interesting. I just had Joseph Cope. He is a keynote speaker. He's the empathy guy. And we were just talking about the same topic. And he notices the parallels in corporate America to very much like middle school, that your 12-year-old self sometimes shows up and rears its ugly head in meetings when you fly off the handle or you have an emotional trigger to something someone says. And I think that what I glean from you and certainly from this book is that self-awareness. It is your responsibility, not other people's, to clean, to fix, to repair, to upskill, or to evolve. Like it is yours to make sure that the 12-year-old isn't showing up in the meetings more times than the you of now, right?
That's absolutely right. And so what I often say is go give your 12-year-old the iPad and let her sit in the back seat because you, adult you, are actually driving. But you have to be conscious of that. Being yourself at work is not oversharing or showing every emotion. I'm not prescribing that at all. I don't want that. And I certainly don't want to show you all of my emotion either. But what I am asking for is to have the awareness, the self-awareness of, okay, these types of things piss me off. When that person interrupts me every other meeting I'm in, it pisses me off. I better do something about that or else I am going to blow my top. I'm also suggesting, and this is for the cynics out there as well, to imagine that most everyone has positive intent in the workplace. There's not many people who are out to get you. And by the way, if there are, they will be found out because it's not productive, because it creates swirl, because people are going to leave, right? You can look on any exit interview, and if you are looking and you're looking for a pattern that says, yeah, these 3 people in the last 1 month left because Jack's a jerk, well, you better go talk to Jack. Right?
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of part of your book and the premise is leading from the heart. So what does that look like day to day, especially when business pressures are high? You've got revenue targets that are skyrocketing. You've got layoffs and culture that's been decimated and you're trying to rebuild. How do you really lead from the heart in the day-to-day work?
Leading from the heart for me is speaking human. And I call that emotional fluency. So we've talked a lot about emotional intelligence now for the last 10 plus years. Amazing, yes, very important to hone those skills, those traits. If you don't know how to express gratitude, it's time to learn. If you don't know how to be humble, it's time to learn, right? This is a give and take. Emotional fluency says you got all of that, and now you can speak human very, very well, just as though I am fluent in English. I can go to any English speaking country and find my way around. If you ask me to speak Turkish, I'm not fluent. I'm going to need to ask for help if I go to Turkey. Emotional fluency, that is what we need to now start practicing. And that for me is leading from the heart. And that is being vulnerable, seeing vulnerability as a strength, showing courage, gratitude, humility, honesty. How about transparent? Empathy is a big word, right? And I talk a lot about empathy in the book, and we're talking a lot about empathy in the world right now. Empathy is an emotion. The output of empathy is kindness and compassion. We learn that at 1, 2, 5, 7, 10 years old. We learn that. Our parents teach us that. I have 2 little children. We are teaching them that right now. And so that is what I'm asking for, being able to speak the language of kindness. Yeah. And the big caveat here, which we need to talk about, is, okay, I'm not asking you to be a doormat. I want you to have boundaries. I need you to have boundaries. I need you to not take on someone else's stuff, because then not only is your backpack heavy because you're hiding yourself, now it's doubly heavy because you've just taken on Sarah's baggage because you want to be a good person. That's not empathy. That's codependency. It's difference.
Yeah, it's huge. And how do you balance that empathy and the vulnerability without losing authority?
Yeah. I mean, that's really the question at hand right now. So, you have to acknowledge your strengths and what it is you know, and are you a kind and compassionate person? Do you need to ratchet that up or tailor some of that back? Before I answer the question, I want to just go a little bit deeper into empathy, because I'm devoted to getting this thought out there, which is, we have been taught that empathy is putting myself in your shoes. I will never, ever, ever, ever be able to put myself in your shoes. We have such different lived experience. That is not going to happen. But what I can do through the generosity of my heart, and because I'm a good human, is I can ride shotgun with you. I can ride alongside you. That way, I'm not merging with you. What I'm saying to you is, I got you, and you got this. And I'm going to be with you. Why? Because I believe in you. Empathy, I feel you. Then there's something called optimism, which is I believe in you. Mm-hmm. Those 2 things together, that's the best sandwich you've ever had in your life. Now, the vulnerability part, as I said, you don't want to be codependent. You really want to understand where you begin and end. This is the space in the world I take up, and that is the space in the world you take up. And I'm not going to cross over. It's unhealthy for me. It's not going to do you any good. So I won't be able to be kind and compassionate, because you know what? I'm going to be oversaturated with all of your stuff and my stuff. So the vulnerability part is really saying, like, I'm here. I hear you. I see how that was really, really tough being interrupted 5 times in that meeting. And I'm right here for you. Let's talk about it. I'm here, but not going and solving the problem for that person.
You know what I hear in that is some of the very best people leaders I've ever had the opportunity to work with and under and on the same team with were leaders who knew that one of their core responsibilities in shepherding me was removing roadblocks and challenges. Right? Mm-hmm. Creating velocity for me by removing roadblocks and challenges. It's that simple, really. And empathy, I think, plays a role in that, right? Because then it helps you see where's Mary going to get stuck? Let me go ahead and move 5 steps ahead and help remove those roadblocks.
Yeah, empathy becomes a multiplier because if you have an empathetic culture or an empathetic team or an empathetic boss, what's going to most likely happen is you're going to stay at the company.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to most likely happen is you might even tell your friends about this great company that you're at. You might even decide to take a chance and share one of your creative ideas that you've been holding in because there's a safe space there. And if there's an empathetic community and culture, that is only going to lead to speed. We are not going to have to day in, day out deal with the drama, the meeting after the meeting, the gossip, and then the meeting after the gossip, right? And I mean, you're nodding your head because we do that all the time. Empathy is an amplifier. It's an amplifier if it's used correctly.
Mm-hmm. And, you have three emotional pillars, and I feel like we've already hit upon them, but let's go ahead and drive them home. What are those three emotional pillars? And how can they really go into play, especially if I'm having to give tough feedback or leading change within my organization?
Yeah. So we've got emotional optimism, emotional bravery, and emotional efficiency. And to just break that down in a very, very simple way is emotional optimism is feeling your feels, is feeling your emotions, not becoming your emotions. As Dr. Susan David says, emotions are signposts. It's just data for us. Wow, when he interrupted me 5 times, I got frustrated, I got pissed, I got angry. But I am not an angry person, the situation. So it's feeling the feels, then seeing the possibility, seeing that A, tomorrow's going to be a better day. B, I'm going to lean into my emotional bravery and actually go up to that person in a very kind way and say, I'm not sure if you recognize, but you interrupted me 5 times yesterday and it really upset me. Okay, that takes a lot of bravery. So back to emotional optimism, feeling the feels, seeing what's possible, knowing that you have agency and choice how you're going to handle that situation. Emotional bravery is then naming it. Okay, I'm really frustrated. That guy really pissed me off. And then saying what is unsaid, taking a step forward. Emotional bravery is the action, right? Saying, it really upset me when you interrupted me because I'm trying to be more vocal in meetings, whatever. Emotional efficiency is then focusing on the energy that I just created with that conversation with that guy, right? And knowing that I can do that again and again and again. I can have those conversations, which creates speed, which creates I no longer need to get so mired down because I know that I'm courageous enough to say, hey, that really upset me, right? Or someone being okay when someone says to me, like, hey, Claude, I really, really like your work, but I got to tell you, there's so many spelling mistakes in that presentation. My bad, I didn't proofread, but whoa, I need you to proofread too. Just, again, not hanging on to the drama of it all, because we love drama.
Oh my goodness.
We,
That's where the middle school vibe
yeah.
comes into play. And middle school kids don't have the prefrontal cortex built yet to even navigate that. But let's assume we are all adults and we do. And so
Yeah.
it is a choice do we stay in that high drama, low productivity, mediocrity? Let's just be real. Or do we want to envision a workplace, a team, a department that is thriving and people are doing their very best work and stepping up and, taking and receiving feedback without too much emotion behind it? I think that this is it. This is the key. And that's where I appreciate the pillars of emotional optimism, bravery, and efficiency, because it really does boil down to that, doesn't it?
It really does. And this is also either assuming or knowing that you will provide a safe space.
Yes.
So we want psychological safety in our organizations. We want it between individuals. So notice how the language I used to go up to that person was, hey, I just want to talk to you for a second. So I'm not charging. There's no red in my eyes. I just want to talk to you for a moment. I'm not sure if you recognized that you interrupted me 5 times. There's no malice in my voice.
Mm.
What I'm trying to do is actually connect as a human being, not correct, not my place to correct this person. I am just pointing out what happened for me, taking responsibility for Claude and Claude's emotions so that I'm not carrying them into the next meeting and the next meeting and then go becoming cynical and leaving the company. And so what if you take the sandwich of empathy and optimism together? So we're talking about empathy, and then I've just talked to you about emotional optimism, which is really the thing, I think. Empathy opens the heart. Optimism sees possibility and moves us forward. Empathy says, I see you. I see you. I feel you. Optimism is, and I believe in you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Empathy connects us. Optimism literally lights the way and propels us. And you need those things. This is what it is to lead with heart. These are all of the things we learn with emotional intelligence. But you have to be willing to put these things together for yourself and then for the culture. No one is going to do this for you. Let's be very, very clear.
So I love this so much. And now it's starting to really paint a picture as to why you have this job title of Chief Heart Officer. You know, there's a perception out in the world, I'm sure you are not blind to it, of Gary Vee is a shoot from the hip, go 90 billion miles an hour kind of guy, get shit done, excuse my French, and take no prisoners kind of, you know, and I wonder if so much of that is a perception or is in fact reality. But I think that in order for him to be as brilliant as he is, and I do think he is incredibly brilliant, he has to have some level of emotional intelligence as well. It's not Claude brings the emotional intelligence to the room so that we all can run 80,000 bazillion miles an hour. It is a shared core value of that company, as my guess.
Well, yeah, he created the role.
Yeah.
Gary is the most down to earth, what you see is what you get leader. He is probably one of the more emotionally intelligent people I know. I work for Gary Vaynerchuk. I don't work for Gary Vee. Gary Vee is a brand that's loud and brash and all of that. I work for a very down to earth person who believes in patience, who is not a micromanager at all, who believes in kindness, and he also believes in being honest, candor. And so he recognizes we would never have this role if he and I hadn't gotten together and realized that we have a very similar belief in humans. He recognizes that it is the people that create culture. It is the people that create trust in the system or not. It is not the tools. It's not more process. It's us. We are the organization. We are the organization. And so with that said, this is leaving Gary now. With that said, leadership development, growing leaders today isn't an option. It has to happen. And there is no mystery to it. You and I can go buy 20,000 books on developing managers and leaders right now. We can write them, right? So now what's happening? Why aren't we doing it? Why aren't we putting it into practice? What is going on? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
Yeah. And I think it is the paradigm is broken. I think that the corporate America, especially, and I know we have a global audience listening, but a corporate America, let's just zoom in on us right now, is broken. We will lay off to look profitable for shareholders on paper. People become numbers on a spreadsheet rather than humans with talents and assets. We no longer believe in the value of human capital, the greatest asset inside your company. And I think that that has gone on for so long, it's not sustainable. And so my prediction is that the paradigm has to shift. I was just reading a study in October of 2025. There was 153,000 layoffs in the US alone. And the majority of those layoffs that were announced from major companies were middle managers. They're cutting the bloat in the middle rather than training and upskilling the managers to actually be equipped and empowered to do a great job. And what's so interesting, Claude, and I'm curious if you see this as well, is a lot of the companies that were doing layoffs in fall of 2025 have never been more profitable before the layoff.
Yeah.
Profitable on paper. So it's an interesting times that we're in. And I think if companies can start to see that the paradigm shift is already shifting and that this model is no longer sustainable, we can actually make it a win-win-win for everyone. Employees feel empowered because their companies are investing in leadership development for them and investing in better employee experience. The company is winning because, profits are up because better customer experience happens when better employee experience happens as well.
Yeah.
This is all part of the equation, right?
Yeah. The old systems are cracking. Let them crumble. There's nothing to hold up. We do not need to bring our crazy glue. Let them crumble. My belief is there's a doorway we are standing in front of right now. And if we allow ourselves and the companies and culture to go through it, we will open ourselves up to a new era of leadership. And boy, oh boy, do we need it. There are the generations that are now in the workplace, and I'm talking Gen Alpha and Gen Z, will not tolerate this stuff anymore. They just won't. And so if we want to retain them, because why would we want? Well, they're creating the next AI bot. Of course we want to retain. We need to change with them. And going back to your first question was, why is it so important to bring yourself to the workplace? Who else are you going to bring? Who else are you going to bring? You're going to bring a phony you that's going to be very despondent and leave after 18 months to 2 years because you haven't been promoted, you're not getting the growth that you want, all the other stuff that we know that happens. And so my hope is that we all can get on this bandwagon and move forward together. But let them crumble, please, please, please. We don't need top-down, archaic ivory tower leadership anymore. We don't need to be told what to do. We need good leaders who are going to help leave a map for us so that we also learn how to find and navigate through our roadblocks, right? That is, as we said, that is one of leadership's responsibilities, to help me identify and move through my roadblocks. I would love it if we had a world soon where I've learned how to do that. I can do that for myself, and now I can do that for others. And so it goes, and so it goes, and that's called efficiency.
And I think my prediction is the reason there's so many middle managers that are terrible bosses, let's just say it, call it out, is because maybe they've not had the role models from their previous bosses either. So it's this cycle that continues on of, well, this is just how bosses are, and you're just too sensitive, and you just need to get over it and just do the work. Why are, I went to a conference recently, an HR conference, where somebody was speaking from stage and saying, well, why is it that Gen Z doesn't want to work today? And I'm like thinking, my goodness, you've got it all wrong.
Oh boy.
You've got it all wrong. It's not that they don't want to work. They want to feel like their work is meaningful. They want to feel a sense of belonging. They want to feel that their voice is heard and valued. And hey, guess what? We've been dogging on the younger generations for, I don't even know how long, 100 years now. I'm Gen X, and I remember getting dogged on millions of years ago too. Yeah. So we just love to just shit on our 20-year-old coworkers. But the truth of the matter is they see how work is broken, plain as day. And we all who are progressive and thinking in bigger ways see that it's broken and see the opportunity we have at hand with AI and automation on the brink of really changing work forever. And I dare say, because I lean on the optimism side as you do, for good. it
Yeah.
can be for good. So let's talk about that. As AI and automation really are reshaping work, how do we keep our humanity at the center of what we do?
We have to remember that that is what we need to do. That is job number one. Innovation is going to continue happening. It has happened from the dawn of time, when they started to make arrowheads and then put that on the end of wood and it became a spear. Innovation is who we are as humans. We know how to solve problems. Do we know how to be human? I mean, that's where we are, right? So when I was saying to you, empathy for me is riding shotgun with you. It's being a passenger with you. I'm alongside you. I'm not taking it on. What I equate that to is you can feel my hand on your shoulder, which AI is not going to be able to do, and my hand and my face says to you, I got you, empathy, and I believe in you, and we're going to get through this together. That is not something AI is going to be able to do in the way that I really mean it. Yes, AI can tell you that in written word, and it can be your therapist if you choose to have it. But AI is never going to, at least in my lifetime, I don't believe AI is going to be able to reach out and touch you and give you the warmth of human to human touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's the relationship that we as human beings know how to create. When a newborn is born, what is the first thing that happens? Oh, they go to their birth mom's chest. Why? Belonging, safety. I matter, right? This is all about human beings are wired to belong. We are wired to connect to one another. And we have spent decades moving away from that.
Yeah. And I mean, you're 100% spot on. I feel like any good, strong working relationship also has two pillars of trust and respect, right? And that has to go two ways between both people and is built over time through daily action. You can't force trust. You can't force someone to respect you because, well, that's not going to work at all, right? And these are the things that you do. It's almost like building a muscle. Like you're going and training at the gym. You have to put the reps in, and some of the reps are going to be messy, and you're going to mess up how you say something, or how you lead a meeting, or how you give feedback, or how you receive feedback.
Uh-huh.
But these are the things that help you understand. And I think what we're getting at is the lead from the heart is these human centered approaches. This
Yep.
is what's the most important, isn't it?
It is. And I go back to, we learn this as infants.
Yes.
We learn this as toddlers. We learn this as children. Somewhere, somehow, I don't know if it's higher education. I don't know. I'm not the right person to be able to diagnose where the shift happens. But all of a sudden, we humans make the choice to put a shield up. And you are not coming near me. You don't know me. I don't want you close to me. Now, all of that we know comes from childhood and all of that stuff, but like enough already. Enough. There's enough psychotherapy out there and self-help books and people like you and me that want to help people cross the bridge to like, okay, I am responsible for myself. I know myself well enough, at least today, and I'm going to do my very best to regulate my emotion and not cause a mess. I am not perfect at all, and I'm sure I will mess up. If you, my friends, can give me the benefit of the doubt, that would be wonderful, because I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and then we can go on and move through this and do something marvelous together. And oh my God, have a good time.
And what I hear in that is bringing people with you.
Yes.
I mean, this really reminds me of something from your book. And if you don't mind, I'd love to read from it. Page 26, you say this: when an environment encourages courage and showing up, and when individuals step forward and show the way, it creates the space for others to bring themselves and their talents to the table. When we listen, not just with our ears, but with our hearts, we can create, share, and amplify courage in others. Heart prints like humility, bravery, vulnerability, grace, generosity, curiosity, resilience, and radical acceptance have forged and molded us, and they can galvanize teams and organizations too. It's beautiful. And I don't think it's just theory. I think this can be done in practice when you really embrace the idea that we work together, not pitted against each other, right?
Yeah.
And that when we, even if you are an individual contributor at the very bottom of the org chart, when we work as agents of belonging, belonging is a core value. We believe in this as a way that we navigate and work through the world and make decisions at work. We become those role models. We
Exactly.
say, come on board. It's not scary. It's not you against me. We can come together. We can change the culture just by these simple actions, right?
Just by these simple actions. And if you take away one thing here, what I'm asking for is let's pay attention to being present over performance. Let's be present, because being present is going to make us aware of this, and our performance will get better because we're present, we're in it. And I have a support system. I have what's called a team. Very little gets done in this world without others, right? And so I'm almost suggesting slow down, get your feet on the ground, understand who you are to go faster. Right? And I'm not by any means saying you got to go faster in this world. I'm just saying slow down, feel your feet, do some box breathing. It doesn't matter to me what you do. And then go faster. Yeah. Understand yourself. Listen to the beat of your heart. Listen to your music. It doesn't matter. Do whatever you need to do. Claude knows what she needs to do. I am old enough and been through enough therapy and ups and downs to have figured that out for now. So that's the deal. And really, like, I think the other thing I want to share is I really think there's some actions and habits that I would say I have seen heart leaders consistently do. One, seeing the human before the title. Title, schmitel. I have the greatest title out there. I love it, and you can take it away because I would rather be a human. Listen without readying myself to pounce on you to speak. Listen without waiting to speak. Trust first. Forgive first, right? And that's hard for us. Say the hard things. Assume positive intent. I'm going to say, listen, it really upset me. It jarred me in that meeting when you blank, blank, blank. But say them with kindness. And then create the space where truth can live, where safety can live, where ideation can live. See the human, listen without waiting to speak, trust first, forgive first, say the hard things with kindness and clarity, and create and hold space for others.
I feel like what you just gave, everyone press pause on your player right now and just really reflect on those things. Those are 4 or 5 very practical things that you can test with your teams this week, and that really helps you as a leader build that belonging, build that trust again. Because, I just want to go back to what you said earlier. I think we all know when we are at our best at work. It is very rarely when you are receiving the award on the stage or in some big spotlight moment. When you are your best, to point back what you said, you are calm, cool, confident, and clear, right? Those are the things that are the most important. So when you set your compass for the day, you're setting it on that, right? Rather than, and will be the first to raise my hand and say, I've been there more times than I would like to admit, rather than setting your compass to chaos and to frenzy, or worse, to insecurity. He is out to get me. She is out to undermine me, blah, 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 because all of that is noise. And it's just keeping you from being your highest self, doing your best work, being that leader that you want to be in the workplace so that you can go fast, right?
Exactly. Period. Mic drop. You said it. that is it.
Oh, I love this book so much. I hope that you guys go out and get it. It is called Be Yourself at Work. It is found at all bookshops, wherever you get books and books are sold, including your local bookshop and those online. I will put the links in the show notes. Anything that we've talked about today, I highly recommend going back to the show notes over at thesimplifiers.com. And you can also visit her at claudesilver.com and beyourselfbook.com. And a great way to get connected is also to follow her on social media, specifically on her LinkedIn. So all of those links are in the show notes over at thesimplifiers.com. So, Claude, as we wrap up, I feel like I could have a part 2, part 3, part 4 of this conversation, but these people need to get on with their lives and into the world and taking good, positive action. But I have some questions I'd like to ask you that I ask everybody that jumps on the podcast. And so here we go, rapid fire. 1, what is one book or blog that you're reading these days that's either inspiring you or poking holes and challenging your belief system?
I am rereading Radical Acceptance by Tara Brach. What that does for me is it reminds me of what I am capable of when I can accept what is going on in the world around me and take accountability for my actions.
So good. That book, we'll link that up in the show notes. Again, you can find that over at thesimplifiers.com. I believe gratitude and simplicity go hand in hand. Tell me, what are you grateful for today?
Oh gosh, I'm so grateful for my kids. I really am. They are the light of my life. I had kids much later in life. And so my 4.5 and 7-year-old just, they just make me happy. They're just kids. They just have so much imagination and wonder. And that's how I start my days.
I love that. Oh, my kids are much older now, but I do remember those days and it goes by so fast. All of a sudden you're going to have a 6'3" child in your house that eats all of your snacks that you have to hide them. But later.
Right. That's later. Yeah.
So I love to ask this question. Who is somebody in your network, somebody that you know personally, you just feel is up to brilliant things? If we were to shine a spotlight on them, and who knows, maybe one day we'll have them on the podcast, who would that be?
There are so many, but I'm going to shout out Kate Thrumble. She is on the team in our London office. She leads with her heart. She's a phenomenal coach. She is an empath, and she wants to bring us together in this world. She does not want to create a divide. Her name is Kate Thrumble. You can find her on LinkedIn.
Love it. We will link her in the show notes as well for you guys. So again, all the things that we talked about, you can find there in the show notes. And I'm going to leave you with this final question, Claude. And again, thank you so much for your heart and your wisdom and your time today.
Thank you.
Someone somewhere is listening to you and I right now, and they are feeling incredibly underwater at work. They're like, yeah, this all sounds great, but the massive responsibilities and deadlines and all this pressure is on my shoulders and I am cracking. What's one thing you could whisper in their ear right now just to encourage them in this moment?
I want you to take up space and I want you to go talk about this with someone that can support you. You are not supposed to suffer in silence or suffer alone in the workplace. There are other people that can take the workload off of you. I don't care who they are, it can happen. You are not one of one. You are one of many. So please, please know that you deserve to take up space. You deserve to say, I belong here and I'm going to need some help. It's literally strength to say, I'm capable of so much and it's too much work for me right now.
I need help. Yeah. Say it with your outside voice.
Yeah. I need some help.
Yeah. Oh, big love to you, Claude.
Big love. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary.